Everyone, it is Char from Char's Fashion. You know what? Actually, I'm glad that you can see that baby hoodie hat right now. I said I would get this done. I was a little tired and had my headache, so I had to rest the last couple of days and then come back to this. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. Don't want your brain to be all busted and right? Don't need no busty crusty brain. So how I have the lining cut for this is different. I mean, wouldn't that just make a cute baby shirt or a cute children's shirt? There's just so much that you can do with fabric. There absolutely is, and I love that. So this is the lining. As you know, it's the same thing as the lining for the hat. I still have so much of this stuff. It's amazing. Yay! I'm excited to get this done. So that's what we're doing today. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and lay this out. No, I don't have the table out. I folded that up and just put it away. Because for this, literally, oh, let me move the blanket. Woo, there we go. Okay. So what we're going to do is literally bring this over here. So now that we have this over here on this side of the desk, for something about this small, you really don't need a lot of room to do the pinning. So with the pinning, it's very important to make sure everything's all matchy, of course. Now, what I'm going to do, I always do the back before I do the front because that's when I take care of this piece on the collar. Now, do I actually want to leave this on here? I usually do. And if it's just a simple fabric like I've usually been using, and I haven't had to change my needle. I thought that my needle would have been all worn out by now, but no, and I'm glad. And I've also noticed that the needles that I've been using, the ballpoint needles that I've been using, go through the layers of this faux fur so nicely that I'm not really going to have any problems with it. Those little bits of faux fur fuzz. Now see, sometimes faux fur will have a little bit of collected fuzz on the inside, just like take that off. I don't have a lint roller, or I just would have used a lint roller. Oh, lint roller. Excuse me, my omelet's talking. So, you guys know normally I would just like roll the neck, stitch that down. Now, if I'm gonna do that, what I'm gonna do first is take the lining, and maybe I wasn't meant to do this like over the last couple of days so that I could teach you this now. Teach you this now. So that you, because later on the bottom you can just trim this back. So what you do is you take that faux fur piece, put it back out there, put it back out, and then take this here, because remember we give seam allowance on stuff, so with this you will literally just roll this back, line it up, and then when you go to sew, you will just roll that back just a poquito and pin. And that's what we need to do with this. And I really think that there's a reason for everything, and everything has a reason, if that makes any sense to you. Just tell me why. And then just, pin that in place. I don't do my pins running this way. I now like them that way. I did used to do them going the other way, but in a project like this, you don't want, you don't even want these getting lost in it. So when you go to pin that, make sure that you at least have it so the pin head is visible, like that, even from the other side. So that way when you're sewing it down, you're not having to worry about that. Now the stability of this versus the stability of the hat, because they're two completely different objects. You're pinning, bringing in what you need to bring in for seam allowance. Seam allowance is very, very important. Now on a garment like this, because the child will grow and continue to be able to wear this for at least maybe, I would say, a year. There's some children's regalia that's made the same way. I don't make children's regalia yet, but if I ever have the chance to, I will show you that. But it's really super simple to cut out for the children's regalia, because some of it gets passed down through the generations. So yeah, so always make something like super simple, super easy, super light, especially if you're doing something for a child's piece. And like I said, you know, when you get a pin that, especially this collar, I'm going to pull this down a little bit more so that you can see that better. And when you're doing the collar, make sure that when you do this, you flatten it as you go. And then bring that down to that fabric. And the only reason that I don't have this liner cut the same way, well, it's cut the same design, but I split it at the shoulder so that it would be easier to put on here. Yeah, absolutely. So now that, and you'll be able to fill where these two are, you should be able to, unless of course you've lost the feeling in your phalanges, to be able to put that pin through there. See that? You should be able to see that. It's bright green. Green means go. So even with the blue, the green, the pinks, you'll be able to see. And that's the one thing that I really love about these sewing pins, is they're not only flat, but they're also easy to see when you're sewing, so that you don't make the mistake of accidentally leaving one in or not seeing it, and then you've sewn right over it and can't get it out of the garment. How many people have found that in some sort of weird wish.com thing? Wish they'd check their shit. I don't know. I don't shop off of Wish anymore. I had an issue with them. Stopped shopping with Wish. Because they really needed to get their shit together. So, I'm going to pin this as so, and then what we have to do is flip it over and start pinning the other piece on, is what we have to do. And remember, this is the back side of it, this is the front side of this, and that's what keeps it thermal. I mean, the whole thing keeps it thermal. It's just that I want to make sure that it's all correct. Absolutely, because that's something that's super, super important. And as you notice, I had not cut down on the collar part yet. Now, I will do that because that's important. What I want to do right now is get it attached to the sleeves, is what I want to do on this before I cut that, because I need to have, you know, the feel for that. I could put it under it and then cut the collar, but you know, some things need to be done a specific way. And now, if you saw that fabric that I got from Viv Mom Sews, for YouTube, and for Instagram in the description box. I'm sorry my other video didn't load yesterday. I've been having technical difficulties getting my things to load on Instagram, and I wish there was no technical difficulty with that. I'm having a technical difficulty with my speech. Like, I don't know what it is. I put enough water in the coffee pot to make like 4 cups this morning, and it only gave us 3. Like, the coffee pot cheated me out of my cup of coffee. So my friend was like, you know what? No, don't put it all in my cup. Here, you take some. We'll just split this one. I'm like, nah, it's all right. So he's like, I'm insisting, because that's not right. He's a pretty nice guy. He really is. He's a sweetheart. So I will get this side pinned and that collar piece cut. The only other thing I would do with the collar piece is like literally bring it down like that, and I don't want to have that because it kind of messes up the straight part going across. So let me do that. Okay, now that I'm at the machine, I did just start doing the stitching on this, so I'm going to finish this stitching on both sides and around both arms. And then, well, I just have to, oh, I've got most of this sewn. I will have to edit these pieces together. My friend Rocco called. And, ooh, I think I'm just warm because, like, I have the blanket in my lap, because when you're sewing stuff like this, remember when you have the sewing pins in and you have to sit it in your lap, remember my trick of sit something in your lap so that these sewing pins do not jab your legs, because that kind of stuff happens. Hey, well, we're in the end stretch here on this. God, I can't wait to show this to you. Oh my God. So, you know. Now, before I go on to like showing the full garment, I did notice that some of the fur gapped, and that's very easy to do, to fix, because I plan on doing an overstitch on this anyway. So as I go to do the overstitch, even though I'm really loving that at the moment, I have to fix this part because there's no seam ripping of any kind that can go on there to redo that. It's just roll it down and stitch it. In fact, I may just stitch that by hand because I can just whip stitch that in. So I may just go ahead and do that. So let me show you this. Isn't that friggin' adorable? I'm so tongue-tied. It's so cute. And it's supposed to have like a shorter sleeve on it anyway. That way, let's say you're in the house or you're at the store, you know, babies are little, they can grow into this stuff. Yes, grow into it. And the collar is this size for a specific purpose. I mean, look at that. That's adorable. That's just adorable. Yes. And what I'm going to do is just like clean up these little parts here of the lining fabric that are sticking out, and just, you know, clip that clean. And quite frankly, this is done. The video I have playing is Jessica Vargas. I have her videos playing. So as soon as I'm, you know, done today with that hand stitch, that one little part, you know, it's on to the blanket, and that's another video for another time this week, probably starting today, and try to finish it up by Saturday. Look, I'm just like, I'm happy to be able to just get to my machine and do stuff. And that's just, look how adorable that is. And I made it so it kind of has kind of a hanging, sort of a ruching kind of feel, kind of a loose ruching. And this is just, it's cute to miss, people. I love being able to sew. So like I said, all I have to do is like that gappy part on the fabric, which is right here, and done. Oh, I hope that you have enjoyed today's video, because this, my friends, is so fun to make. Now, I do have other faux fur to be able to make other things, such as blankets or jackets, which I think would be fun. Perhaps even a house coat with pockets. I may make one for myself. I actually need like a winter in the house coat. Yeah, you know what? I think I will do that for myself. That's a great idea. Look, I gotta stay warm too. And then maybe when I go to make me a house coat out of another faux fur that I have, I can possibly add in some slippers. Who doesn't love a good slipper? And the lining fabric that I have here would be good as the bottom of the slipper. Absolutely, I love fuzzy slippers. I have this muted, but I have it on. Also, I was playing Hillbilly Select Review, so I will leave both Hillbilly Select Review and Makeup with Jessica Vargas right, yeah. And I had to use this to rethread, because you guys know how I am with this. So Sunsetty Subs and Candles, you're still magnificent. And they have new body scrub coming out at the first of the month. Please check that out. It is a sweet pumpkin spice. So you need to go check that out and use my code SharsNation10 for 20% off your entire purchase at any time. And I want everybody to stay happy, stay healthy, stay positive, and as always, stay blessed, because I put my pinky out there too early. It's Friday. And it's a day to just enjoy the beginning of your weekend. And I will see you guys in the next one.